And so when did you pivot from basically, obviously you run your own family office now, but pivot from that to like, putting content online, writing on Twitter,
Yeah.
Your YouTube?
So, when I was at Facebook, I was into this very kind of unique position where I started out, I was the product manager running the growth team for Facebook pages, which way to think about that is like the page product is the top of the funnel for advertisers. So you have to have a page to become an advertiser. Facebook wants advertisers, right? So naturally they want you to have a page because that's one step towards becoming an advertiser. Who gets a page? Small businesses, influencers, celebrities, corporations and brands, right?
Yep.
And so what would happen is I kept getting introduced because of being in that position to all these people who had audiences elsewhere. So one of the first people that I actually got introduced to was the Instagram account Fuck Jerry. And so Ellie, they were building out Fuck Jerry on Instagram, and they were like, well, what should we be doing on Facebook? And so as I got to meet some of these people, it was like, oh, you have to figure out how to use Facebook to build an audience.
Yeah.
And so just seeing it over and over and over again, having access to the data, understanding how the algorithm works, et cetera, like you just build a base of knowledge. When I left that team, it was to go join kind of a very small team that worked directly with Mark Zuckerberg and Sheryl Sandberg to help them do the same exact thing. I didn't go to Facebook and be like, oh, I'm going to figure out how to help people build audiences on Facebook or any of that stuff. It's just kind of, you find your way there. And so with Mark and Sheryl, what they wanted to do was basically, they were very, very early. People don't give them enough credit, but they were early to going direct. They realized, hey, we have 1 billion people on Facebook. Mark had like 9 million followers. He's like, they're like, how do I reach my own users, right? Yeah. And he didn't want to do like Tom from MySpace, where he like forced everyone to become his friend.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Tom's cool, right? But Mark, I think it was like, hey, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
He also didn't want to really like change the product too much. Like, we now see kind of all these controversies around these platforms that are like boosting somebody's content or down ranking somebody's content. He didn't want to change the product. So he's like, I want to learn how as a user to reach more people, right? Now he's Mark Zuckerberg, so people see his content, they know who he is.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of testing, right? It was like, hey, if you post a photo, what's in the photo versus what's not, and how popular is that? So, I don't think I'm sharing anything that would be controversial, but like, if he has his dog in his photo, people like that photo, right?
Yes.
And so like, okay, like how do we incorporate that into the content? Just like any other brand or content team would do.
Yeah.
This is back to 2014 though, right? So he's really doing it. So when I got to investing, what I realized was two things. One, if you want deal flow, people got to know who you are. If you want to win deals, people got to know who you are, right? Like, what do you stand for? Who are you? Like all that brand building type stuff. Yeah. And two was I had no audience. I helped all these other people build an audience, but I'd never done it for myself. And so the easiest platform for me was Twitter, because I could basically just type something on my phone and go. And so in 2017, I literally just worked my ass off, right? And it sounds weird to say like, oh, on Twitter you worked your ass off, but I literally was tweeting like 20, 30 times a day. I was doing everything I possibly could to build that audience. And I went from about 2,000 followers to 100,000. And that's when I was like, all right, there's something here. And I tweeted it multiple times throughout the year. Like I was very clear with people, audience is the new currency. If you have an audience, you have massive leverage in this kind of new world we're moving into. And so over a 5-year period, I went, Twitter, email, podcast, YouTube, etc. And what I learned was not only is audience the new currency, but also it's the fastest path to learning, because you can put an idea out there, and Twitter specifically, like it doesn't take a lot for some, troll or critic or whatever to immediately say like, hey, that's wrong. Great, why? Right? Yeah. Explain. And so you get to test ideas very, very quickly, and the feedback loop is kind of tight. And so what you can do is you can iterate closer and closer to the truth. So if you can do something that isn't really that big of a time investment, you get the leverage from the audience and you get the learning. It's like a grand slam. And so I just started to do that, kind of coinciding with the investing. And, I never thought it would turn into what it is now, but happy that it did.